All right, thank you for staying with Daybreak. The conversation begins right now. We'll talk about the Creative Economy Support Bill 2024. The move of the bill is here. Honorable Eddie Oketch is the senator for Migori. But before we get into that, we'll also touch on the issues to deal with the counties and the governors who are fighting back over /20 billion shillings revenue, and whether those counties are actually serving the purpose that they were intended for. Let me introduce my guest real quick. Honorable Eddie Oketch, senator for Migori, is here. Asante sana for making time. Eric Omondi, a content creator, is also here with us. Thank you very much for making time, Eric. Nixon Andare, you know him as Nicky Big Fish, also a content creator, is here with us. Thank you very much for making time. Winnie Njenga, content creator as well, is with us. Asante sana for making time. And Ezekiel Easy Onyango, the chairperson, Kenya Film and TV Professionals Association. Thank you very much for making time. And Omondi, I'll start with you here. We're talking about these issues of governors and counties, and I know you're pushing for counties to be reduced. But we see now the governors are fighting back over /20 billion shillings revenue. The government has a messy fight with the county governments over austerity measures introduced by President Ruto after the collapse of the Finance Bill 2024. Are they justified to insist that their money should not be reduced at a time when they're also complaining that they've not received cash from July? In fact, they're grinding to a halt.
They are not justified, Trevor. And in fact, I think it should be cut further. We are in very hard economic times. And in fact, what I've been pushing for is not just to cut funds, but to cut the number of governors from 47 to 8. Because we do not need 47 governors. Our economy cannot support that kind of massive... you know, I was telling you the other day, Trevor, the United States of America has 400 million citizens, and they only have 50 governors. 400 million. Kenya has 52 million, and we have 47. Tumewashinda na tatu. Yeah? Our country is so small, we cannot afford to fund the county government. Tuko na governor, deputy governor, tuko na CSCs, bado tuko na county commissioner from the central government, tuko na MP, tuko na women rep, tuko na MCA, tuko na senator. In fact, what I would suggest is that the governors start preparing. And even my brother, nilikuwa namwambia, he should run for governor. Because even senators, we will not have them very soon. Because I don't see the use of 47 governors. I don't see the use of the Senate. Trevor, we are talking about over representation and roles. What's the English word? Duplication. Senators walitoa ule governor Mwangaza. Kesho koti imekata. You understand? So what's the work of the Senate? I was telling Mheshimiwa hapa, and he has the capability. Aanze kufikiria running for the governor of Nyanza County, not Migori or Homa Bay. Someone should start thinking of running for governor of Western County, governor Coast Mombasa Pwani County, governor Central County, governor Eastern County, Northeastern County, because we do not need. Trevor, teachers are on strike, students are on strike, people are dying without medicine. We need to save money. Yeah? Na umeona kitu inahappen na governors. Wengine wanabuy Fanta 1 million. Yeah? Wengine huku sitaki kutaja majina. Kuna vitu wengine wanabuy wheelbarrow 3 million. Yeah? So there's wastage of money at the county level, and the only way we can do that is to cut down on overrepresentation and to cut down on overlapping roles. Okay.
Nicky, what are your thoughts on this? Do you agree, first of all, that the counties should be reduced, like Eric Omondi is suggesting? I'll come to Eddie last because he's the center of it all.
Yes, I agree, but now not 8, I think at least 16.
Okay.
To at least 16, I think that number will do well. In terms of the allocation, ikiwa slashed, I think ikiwa slashed, ikiwa mongezwa, sisi kama wananchi, we don't feel the difference. Like, for example, mi ndaongelea kuhusu Nairobi because I stay in Nairobi. Ever since this county government imeingia, in terms of me, I have not seen anything. Actually, I think NMS, despite the challenges walikuwa nazo in terms of audit, they did a good job.
Hata improvements za barabara hujaona? Juzi tu Sakaja alikuwa anatembea kwa streets hapa hivi.
Kusema kweli, kitu nimeona, naweza sema at least something good wamefanya ni kupatia youth, photographer, content creators nafasi ya kushoot tao bila kusumbuliwa na kanjo. That's the only thing.
So hata pesa ikirudishiwa wewe huoni issue?
Nothing, because the city is dirty. It's not well managed, if you ask me. Because I've been shooting in town for like now 13 years. I can see the difference. 13
years, haujaona improvement yoyote tao?
Saizi imeenda worse. With the NMS, I think we were heading somewhere. But right now, nothing.
Imekuwa worse kwa nini?
The city is dirty. Umetembea tao kweli vizuri? City. So kweli, we don't feel anything. As in, hatuoni presence ya county government.
Okay.
Yep.
Winnie, what are your thoughts?
Trevor, when you have your budget, for your monthly budget, your expenses for a month, you know you're supposed to pay rent, unafaa ulipe chakula, maybe school fees if you have kids, blah, 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 just for you. You know there are certain expenditures you need to cater for. Now, imefika mid-month, you realize, oh my God, hii pesa haitatosha. Do you continue eating meat every day? Utaendelea kula nyama na nyama choma na kwenda BND kila weekend? You won't do that. You obviously have to cut down expenditures. It's the same thing that we are asking for right now. Expenditures have to be reduced. But the problem is now, zikireduciwa, we want to see the change physically. The same thing Hanifa did with the Mchanga, and when she was allocating funds to patients who are affected by the Maandamano thing, we actually want to see where the money is going. See, you're reducing the number of governors. Yes, the expenditure is reducing, but where is the money going? Are we still in the same hole, or are we actually moving forward?
So when counties zinafaa reduce?
Zinafaa reduce, but they also need to be accountable for where the money is going. Yes, we have reduced the expenditure, but then what are we using the money for now?
Okay.
Is it just theatrics? Are they just saying it? No, we feel safe. Are they actually doing something about it?
Okay. 14 years after promulgation of the new constitution and then the counties came into effect, has there been an impact from your perspective?
Honestly, the impact is so little of an impact for you to feel it ukiwa hapa chini, honestly. You notice very, very little things. But then when they start changing those policies and actually making, like the school fees thing, when they actually start now changing the policies, the impact you feel negatively is bigger than what you used to feel positively.
Yeah.
So what exactly are we doing? Why are we always feeling the negative impact instead of feeling the positive impact, even when they are putting in the policies?
Do you feel overrepresented? Because as you sit here, you have a lot of representation, right from the president, the deputy president, the governor, the deputy governor, the senator, the MCAs, the woman rep, the
of course,
all of them.
All of them are trying to do the same thing. And yet you don't feel their impact. Then they should reduce the roles and they should give it to someone who can actually do the job, because they're not doing their job, honestly.
Okay.
Hawafanyi kazi yao.
Na pia wanasema nyinyi ndio muli-elect watu wenye mna deserve.
I just feel like the system is rotten. We need to have systems that run regardless of the leaders. Like that's where the Maandamano thing came in. We want our systems to run regardless of the leaders. Ndo Ruto akikuja nidanganye kesho, I know when he gets into presidency, he won't be able to do whatever he's doing right now. Why? Because the systems run effectively, but they don't run effectively. We are so dependent on leaders. That's why they can do whatever they want to do right now. And they can distort the system as much as they want to, because they have all the power and the system has zero power.
Interesting perspective. Easy, what do you think about the governors? Are they justified to say that their money should not be slashed? Before we talk about whether they should reduce or not.
Well, from the perspective of Mwananchi, I think there's no justification because it's hard to see the news and realize somebody buys soda for 25 bob. There is a hospital that was built and it's not complete. Schools are not having even water provided for the people who are going to school. So when you compare those two, really, you find there's no justification for that. In terms of reduction of expenditures, I do agree with the sentiments everyone has in terms of reducing, but perhaps the reducing should be guided by needs. Maybe keep counties for areas that need to level up. For example, Nairobi County, Kiambu County, Machakos County can be one big county because there are some areas where we've leveled up already. But somebody who is in Isiolo, in Turkana, in Samburu, they could still be an independent county so that there's a guarantee of money that goes to encourage their development so they can level up. So maybe education, health, and normal infrastructure should be considered in restructuring the numbers, but definitely less than 47.
So you also agree with Eric that these numbers should reduce?
Yes.
This is also coming at a time when the Auditor General blew the whistle, saying some counties operate up to 400 bank accounts. In fact, that's the committee that Senator Eddie here sits in. And do you see them as a conduit for corruption, or do they actually have an impact on the people on the ground? Because there are some people who say that for the first time since devolution, I've seen a road next to my house. I've seen healthcare facilities being built. I've seen ECDs being built. Do you have the same sentiments that devolution has actually worked?
Yeah, in some instances across the country, you do see and feel the impact. The challenge is, how do you sustain the impact? Because when you talk about building roads, is it really a developmental issue or it's already planned for beyond the counties? There is national government that still does roads. When you talk about schools, it's hard to point new schools that have been built ever since devolution started. Like a physical structure of a new school is a hard find, and that's why we are struggling with this junior high transition because of infrastructure facilities. So in some areas, yes, but in most areas, not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Senator, you are an insider in this entire conversation, and you are there. Even your committee, in fact, is the one that the Auditor General revealed all these things for. In this general overview, is devolution working from your perspective?
First of all, good morning, Trevor. Good morning, everyone. I want to start by appreciating my colleagues, actually, the colleagues in the profession, if you may take creative economy as a profession, but also they're my peers in terms of age and experience that we are having is the same. And the reason I want to appreciate this particular panel today is because I have seen these leaders here, starting from Nick, Eric, Winnie, I follow them on Facebook. Maybe they should start following me on Facebook as well, but I follow easier. It's not in social media, but all of them have moved this country from a civic action to a political action by young people. It's extremely critical because young people in this country have always been sitting in the fence that issues will be solved by other people, and they only do some small civic actions. Maybe mandamano here kidogo. Complaining here and there. But now you are seeing a swath of young people in this country moving to the space that need critical mass, which is the political action. And Eric, I cannot emphasize enough how the work you guys are doing is important. I am a young person in Parliament today, probably among the youngest people elected in Parliament today, and it's so frustrating dealing with structures in government that don't work, but most importantly, what I call institutionalized corruption at the national level that has now gone even to the county level. And that for us to deal with it is more and more young people taking control over the country and taking control over the country's affairs, those conversations. So don't think that the work that you're doing is not appreciated. It's extremely appreciated, and I hope that one day we'll be at a platform. Now, to the question of whether devolution is working, I think some facets are working, but some facets are not working because there's devolved corruption. And that devolved corruption, solving it, different people have got different perspectives. But I think that there is something that Winnie said that I wanted to just enhance a little bit. She has talked about how our leaders behave vis-a-vis the system is being rotten. The system is rotten because leaders are stronger than institutions. We don't have strong institutions in Kenya. And we need to build strong institutions that can withstand bad leadership of individuals, so that individuals cannot make strong decisions. Like we have seen governors, for instance, making very strong decisions. Even in a county, you can find that a governor can choose that only one contractor will be doing everything. And then that one contractor then denies the entire county opportunity for money circulation to go to every facet. Then frustration is felt by everybody. So that's a question that we'll answer one day. But the fundamental question today is whether counties should be given this 20 billion or not. You see, we need to understand the structure of counties. Number one, our counties are not created as a replication of the national government. The Constitution has created our counties as a function of governance functions. So, for instance, there are functions that the Constitution has defined under Schedule 4 that these functions of running this country will only be done by national government. And then these other functions will only be done by county government.
Yeah, but they're saying they don't feel the impact of the function.
I'm going there. I'm going there because you are asking about allocation. So those functions include things like water, health.
Yeah.
There is ECD. Counties don't handle high school or primary school. They only handle ECD and TVETs. There is agriculture, and I don't want to mention them all because of time. Now, those functions, we have had two problems. Number one, money does not necessarily follow those functions. Even if you have allocated money in the Senate and the Parliament has passed all these monies, disbursement then becomes a problem. Mm-hmm. And then number two is that there are some functions that the national government, because of wanting to control money, wants to keep on holding on. In fact, there are 500 other functions that the national government imekatalia, that is worth 272 billion. So how did we get to this 400 billion? Last year's budget, that is last financial year's budget, counties were getting up to 385 billion. Remember, they were making, and right now, we try to adjust that budget upwards to make sure that they can be able to also get some more money for development. That's how we got to 400 billion. Now, that 400 billion, remember, it's 400 billion out of about 3 trillion that the government was proposing to raise. So that means that 85% of the money still remains with the national. But the reason why it is difficult for even us to think about removing 20 billion out of that 400 billion is because the 15 billion that was added to counties was non-discretionary. Non-discretionary means there were monies that we could not be able to add counties money for development. There was no money. Okay. But non-discretionary means there are monies that have to be paid for specific things that the counties have already committed for. So, for instance, housing levy was something that was not in the previous budget. And therefore, staffs of the counties had to be given about 4 billion for housing levy. We have got something called SHIF. SHIF came into place. It also increased about another 3 billion. We have got NSSF that were not being given to new county workers. That was another 3 billion. We had got something called KIPES. You know, some industrial park that was supposed to be built, and counties were supposed to contribute. And 18 counties had already committed to this that were needed about 11 billion. So that was the money that was added to counties, meaning that their contractors were already committed. There were people whose salaries are going to be affected. That if you remove the 20 billion without a scientific basis, you are then going to affect other people whose livelihood have already been committed for and have to be paid for. That is the basis for why governors are fighting that 20 billion should not be removed from the 400
Should the counties be reduced to 8, like Eric Omondi suggesting?
Growing up, Trevor.
It's a yes or no question.
No, the answer is no.
Okay.
It's a straight no, because growing up, Trevor, there used to be a centralized government. Remember how devolution came about? There used to be a central government where if you wanted even an ID, or you wanted any service to do with the water or anything, you had to come to Nairobi. Okay. And my feeling is that during those times as well, the national government had got so much money and corruption was at the top. In fact, the economy was not performing. So the answer to corruption is not to claw back on devolution, on money that have been given to the people at the grassroots level. In fact, what Eric Omondi is doing is very good. What Nick is doing is very good. What Easy is doing and Win is doing in terms of power is very good, because they are devolving power closest possible to the people. It's no longer fashionable to say that you are the president and you don't recognize Eric Omondi as a president of creatives. He is equally a president in his own right. So that power is not about amassing wealth for yourself, but power is about serving the people.
All right.
But this is the thing. You must devolve both power and resources closest possible to the people.
Okay.
And any money that has been devolved to the people through structures like devolution or CDF or NGAF should not be plowed back, because if you take them back, you're taking them back, we need Ruto. If you cut the counties, alafu upeke hiyo pesa juu, bado ndio kupatia Ruto hiyo pesa, ataitumia vibaya.
Okay, Eric, yes.
Trevor, we are in very desperate times.
Yes.
Okay. And desperate times calls for desperate measures. This is what I will continue suggesting. Because the more we're having this discussion, the more I'm getting ideas, which will help Kenyans.
Yes.
we are very soon going to take up very desperate measures. We must do away with the Senate. I'll explain why.
The Senate where ADC.
Where ADC. What Morara is doing oversight.
Yeah.
Peke yake tu. For example, the work of an entire Senate. Yeah. Trevor, the only thing that will, unless we agree that the 47 senators will instantly become the 47 MPs, yeah, and we do away with the National Assembly. We have to decide, we have to pick one. Tuseme sasa kama senators wanabaki will play the role. We go back to the former districts. Because we have 349 members of parliament. We have 47 senators. We have 47 governors. We have 47 deputy governors who are currently asking the government what is our role. Nikusoma gazeti. Wanalipwa 669,000 per month na bado sijaongelelea benefits na allowances. Yeah? So the Kenyan economy cannot handle this burden. And this burden falls on the shoulders of the taxpayer. What my Mheshimiwa is talking about, the former 8 provinces, yeah? It's easier when you're talking about corruption. Trevor, when you're a teacher and you have a class of 200 pupils,
yeah,
you cannot control it. Ujui ni nani amepiga kelele, nani amekutupia karatasi, there are 200. But when you have a class of 20 pupils, you can control. So nani wameongea, teacher, you can see all of them.
Yeah.
We have too many representatives. We don't even know who is doing what at this point. Kuna stadium hapa Isiolo, siko liona juzi, wamelipa 222 million. It's just a structure in a kiosk ya M-Pesa. Yeah? And the contractor, the governor, the senator are defending that. We must reduce the number of representation. I told you, one Kenyan is represented by 16 people. Umesema president, deputy president, minister for sport, ako national government. Minister for sport mwingine, ako county. Kuna minister of environment uko Paranya, national. Kuna minister of environment Kisumu. Environment ni ngapi? That's the question I've been asking. How many environments do we have in Kenya? Sports ni ngapi? Sports. So you tukienda tree planting, wote wako hapo. Wote wako hapo mpaka president ako hapo akona tree yake. So you see, there's a lot of overlapping, and this is going to happen, Trevor. And I've started hijacking it. And with all due respect to the Attorney General of this nation, and I have inside information, Trevor, the conversation we started about reducing the county governments, it's not political, it's about Kenyans. And if they think, because wameanza kunichafua, if they think they will sneak in, and waingize term limits, not in 2024. Kenyans are too smart, too woke. If the president thinks, or whoever it is, that Eric ameanza hii conversation, so we hijack it. Mwana watu wanatukana kwa Twitter, Eric kwani umetumwa na Ruto? How is Eric speaking the same language with the Attorney General? You guys, you're sending Eric to open the conversation about amending the constitution so that you can sneak. You will not have. It is impossible. Maybe wajaribu kantingine to have term limits. So I need to say this.
Yeah.
The conversation is about reducing the number of counties. Period. When we touch that COK 2010. I want to inform politicians, they will not believe it. They will not have space to insert vitu zao. Sasa ishafunguliwa, si tuweke hii, tuweke hii. 8 counties, yeah. No senators, ama senators wakuwe MPs. To do away with the national government.
National Assembly.
National Assembly, I mean. And so that's the conversation.
Okay. How many signatures have you collected? Signatures, you're already collecting signatures, yes?
Trevor, believe it or not, we need 1 million signatures. We are at 600,000. And we are going for 5 million. The IBC wasituambie, we're not taking chances. They require 1 million, we'll provide 5 million.
Okay.
I think Trevor, very briefly, yeah. Whatever Eric is saying is very, very important conversation because it is a representation of frustration.
Okay.
And it's a frustration about what most young people feel, that the system is not working for them. There are no economic opportunities for young people, and not only for young people, but many other people.
Okay.
But I think that devolution in itself has actually brought a lot of opportunities to other people.
Okay.
I don't know that Eric can do a scan of the entire country. Let me tell you, there used to be counties in this country that since somebody was born, they had never seen these class C, class D roads in their places, like Marsabit, Mandera, and these other places. Right now, if you go to those places, my friend, there are those roads that have changed people's lives.
Okay.
There used to be counties that women had never seen a dispensary. Wacha hata hospitali, Eric. Huku Nairobi watu walikuwa ukikuwa mgonjwa hivi kidogo umekimbia Pumwani mtoto clinic.
But that whole time they still had representation.
But and I'm saying they used to have representation, and they never used to have county. The thing that young people must understand is that counties have got specific functions that touch on basic needs of mwananchi.
Okay.
And Trevor, before we say something,
topic for another day.
Before we say something,
before
Mheshimiwa is not getting my point. We are not doing away with the counties.
Okay, you're reducing.
We are reducing.
And Winnie also had something to say.
I'm saying, but what you're saying is that the same things can be done by fewer representatives. That's the thing you're saying. Like whatever Eric has said, Morara went and did a scan of the whole country on all the incompetence that is happening. That was just one person.
One person.
Hanifa went and helped people who are whatever maandamano, she was just one person. She handled 30 million, one person. So why do we need so many people to do something that probably one person or can do?
I think this is important for the two leaders. This is important for them. I think that the next conversation that we need to have in this country is how do we deal with these issues of corruption? Because despite the fact that Morara has gone around the country and seen all these problems and highlighted them, what impact does it have in terms of actually correction?
Okay.
None.
It's your job.
Senate, for instance, has done more work than EACC by impeaching over 6 public officials. Because it has got the power and the authority to be able to do so.
But have they really truly been impeached?
Yes, they have. The other day, you saw Sonko trying to vie in Mombasa. It wasn't allowed because the law is the law.
All right, Senator, we'll have this conversation next time. Let's take a quick break. When you come back, now we're talking about the Creative Economy Support Bill 2024 and what needs to be done therein. All right, see you in just a bit.